All right, friends, today let's do a little bit of updating. I said last time, if you don't see me for, a month or whatever, I probably got buried in something, and that is exactly what happened. I got a little bit greedy. So I had a plan to do 100 trades, 5 to 6% pops. The market was really good for, a real short time. They were talking about doing ETFs, they were starting to kind of play whack-a-mole, stuff was popping up here and there. And I kept hitting QE over and over, and I had it charted out to hit one more time, and I was up a good amount, but I got greedy, and it definitely cost me. I was up like $3,000 or $4,000 on it, on a $20,000 position, and I didn't take it because I was like, I'm gonna get some more, and then I got fucking buried. So, shit happens. Like, it'll come back around. It's just that definitely gimped out the trading because it was hot. Like, I got caught in that. I ended up picking up a 3 position, and it got back to like 34, 35, and I was like, nah, this is gonna be the pop where it goes to 45, and I broke my plan. And I really shouldn't have, because if you get too greedy, you get slaughtered. But the market was just so hot, it was popping. I really hadn't expected it to fade off like that. Then they hit an ETF and they just started selling off, and it's okay. So I put a little more money in here, and I had a few trades that weren't really worth talking too much about, but I grabbed some rows and made a few bucks on that. Nothing big. I grabbed CTSI, canceled it a bunch of times. Let's see. Onda, I grabbed Onda. I feel like $1,500 in, and then I made like 6% on that. So I bought 1,500 after fees, was like 14.97, and then 15.98 after. And then Onda kind of played itself out. I kept trying to hit CTSI. It just couldn't quite hit. It couldn't get my fills, and I found that it's just better to be patient and not be greedy and just stick to the plan, because to go from $2,000 to $1,000,000 is 100 trades at about 6%, right? So why get greedy? Why try to make it all in one? You just tap it and build it up. You can find 100 good trades in a year. That's what we're gonna do. So then I moved on to SYN. And I canceled a few times. I was sitting there watching it, and then I had to go to sleep too. So I killed it. I was so precise in the SYN that I got a partial fill. That was too bad. So this is what happened there. I was the very last fill on the dip. I just charted it too correct. Right here. It's right there. Oh, wait a minute. 1 minutes. No, I got to go back a couple days. My bad. So I was too precise. It went from 65 back to 85. Anyway, the dates are on here. You can just kind of look at it. But I got a partial at first, and I ended up selling that partial up above where I should have sold all of it at 85. So I got a partial at 79.7, and it came down and filled me 8%. That's how I got that. And then it went ahead and popped, so I sold that, rebought it at 80, and then resold that. And then I sold all the rest of the other one at the 85. But that cost me, because I should have had 2 trades versus 1. I couldn't believe that it was that precise. So the next time I got a little more aggressive, and I stuck in, what was it, 70. I canceled that, 78. Hit that 76, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, something like that. Who cares? So we hit the 80. Oh, yeah, we hit the 80 fill, I guess, there. And there we go, 84.7. So I hit the 84.7. When I hit the 84.7, it looked like it was going to break out. I only needed a few cents to hit my 5%. That broke down to like 72 cents. And I was like, dang, dude. I'm like, all right, I should have been a little more patient. The next day, it went ahead and, I do believe sold out. A little bit higher. Match up, right? So 97s, 84s. Anyway, so that got all taken care of. Then I bounced around for a little while. I looked at this new one through the charts, and I decided on honey for right now, just for like a day or two. But I might pull that back. I probably should have sorted those other trades out better before I jumped on here, but I just thought I'd be like, oh, I'll just look at the fills and just it'll be self-explanatory, but it really wasn't, because I got a partial. Like I said, I haven't been trading much because there hasn't been much going on. It's been kind of resetting, which is good. Everything's coming down. So here's what I did. I went to new markets, and I saw honey, and I saw it a few days ago. I was like, yeah, maybe. And then I saw Ondo. That's where I'd found Ondo for that first trade. And I've been trying to hit it again. The volume's good, 9.6. It's pulling back, so I'm like, cool, if it hits like a reset spot, I'm going to hit it. So I threw honey on my list because when I looked at honey overall, it looked pretty nice, right? When you actually go back to that, it listed in rocket shot, right? That's good. And then it's totally down and compressioned out. So if you throw that on the daily, right now, like it's about where it's supposed to be on every other exchange, is about, 20 to 23 cents. So I'm going to go ahead and throw it on there and look for probably more than 5% because I have to go out for the weekend and work and do a few things I'm not going to be trading. So if this sat for a while, maybe it fades off. And if it does, I only got $1,700 into it. It'll come back around eventually. It's just how long does the money sit dead for versus like catch a quick pop. I do have my phone with me so I can trade, on the fly, but not very well like desktop. So when I was looking through everything tonight, looking for something, I was like, am I going to, keep on sin? A lot of the market's been pulled back. Some starting to pop. How far does it go? I hit that 24-hour change. I started looking for something momentum so I could just jump in, and something was going crazy, but nothing's going crazy. Like 31% is already up, and am I going to get 5 more percent? Maybe, maybe not. Volume's decent. So I started looking for something to break out that had already pulled back. So then I went the other way around. I started looking at it from this standpoint, and I was like, what's going to pop? What's already on my list that I'm watching for? So I started looking for stars. Like, I know Math is a good popper. Demo is a good popper. There's a couple others that stick out that pop pretty good and then fade off. So I was like, all right, let's find something that's faded off. The volume sucks, but all the volume sucks, right? Like, I'm not getting in that early. I'm not leaving money trapped that much. So I was like, all right, let's look for around 100 grand. Something that's popping. Then I saw a Bit and I was like, dang, Bit was up like 200% the other day with millions, and it's down to 50,000. I'm like, all right, that's a good popper. It's on my list, but maybe it pops, maybe it doesn't. So I was like, yeah, let's look for something a little faster. I'll only be in this trade like maybe 2 or 3 days max if I can get in and out. And I want to catch 6-10% if I can. So if there's something out here that I can only catch a 5 on and it's an immediate trade, I'll take it. If there's something I can catch 10% on for waiting a few days, I'm good with that too. But I also want to grab something that I know does pop in case that everything fades off again and doesn't pop this time and I got to hold it. I want to make sure I can get out later. So if I get stuck holding something decent for like a month, it's not optimal, but it's okay, right? Like it's fair because I'm just looking for 100, 6% trades over the next year. So was there anything here? And I started looking into this. I'm like, man, this is too low. I got to go higher. I want a little more security. I want to go a little faster. So let's look in the 100K range. And then I was like, cool. Like Ocean's up there. Ocean's a decent popper. Seller here and there every once in a while. There's a lot of shit I hadn't heard of. I'm like, what the fuck is all this? Like, this is a lot of garbage. And I was like, what? Link is down to like 113K. Like, whatever. But it was a BTC. I started looking into, looks like some of the volumes already come in before I started the video. STX is something that's been popping. It's something I've made money on. And I thought, 153, maybe it goes to 170, but it's been fading off. And like, I feel like 120 is fair for STX. I think STX could fade back for a while. Like it moves with Bitcoin. So I passed. I kept looking. I'm like, well, maybe I need to go to like $1 million or 200,000. If there's something around 200,000 that I've seen doing good pop recently, maybe I'll get into it. So then I looked at ENS and I'm like, that's possible. But ENS has got the ability to fade off. Magic looked really good to me because it's at the whole dollar mark as well. In fact, it was like 103. A minute ago it was like 3%. So I could have actually got a little bit. And Magic has potential. If you look at it from the daily, like the range I'd already marked it off is 88 cents to $1.27. I let go on that because even though a dollar looks good and $1.05, lets me out with what I'm looking for, $1.10 is amazing. There's a possibility that it just goes down and checks 80 cents and like, I don't know, psychologically, I don't need to be hammered knowing that I, could have just been patient or played something else. So I looked at all this and I thought, yeah, it's got a high of 234. In fact, let me mark that off. And this is probably another like logical spot, like 155 up in more like 146. So I was like, I'm cushioned over there. But on the off note that it falls past 88 and takes a dip, like I'm not trying to go underwater 60%, even though it's $1,700. Like I want to keep playing with that, right? Let's go ahead and finish marking this chart up. Those are the logicals. So 65. So if 88 doesn't hold and it breaks down, like 65 is pretty logical. If a dollar holds and it goes to like $1.10, I'll be all pissed off later. I'm like, I fucking knew it. I should have fucking traded it. But the volume's not quite there yet. And if there's nothing else better, like I'll play it. But I said, what else is there? So then I started looking in like the $1 million range that's already got volume and already got some momentum. And that brought me a Rose. Rose I highly considered because I already have some Rose as well at like 12. And I've been looking at Rose at 3 cents, 3.4 or something like way back. And I've watched it go 400%. And it's a very quality project. I could see it going to a few dollars actually. But do I want to wait that long? No, I need 100 trades. So that's great. I don't want to sit on $1,700 for one trade for a year to get 400%. Like that's the compounding's not there. But could it be hit for a quick 10%? Yes. I don't know where Rose went now. But it was somewhere in here. Like I said, the volumes kicked in a little more. And then I looked at math. Math is a possibility. Math, same thing. I've been watching this since like 4 cents. And I've watched this go up, up, up. I've watched it hit 22. In fact, we'll just pull it up. In some other videos, you heard me talking about it. But I had said, fuck, the volume is like 40,000. If I put 20,000 in, I'm 50% of the volume. I don't want to do that. Had I done that though, right? Like I've watched this, since I guess 6 cents, something like that, and it went up to like 13, and I was like, ooh, nice, and it came back down to like 9 or 8. And we talked about hitting it, and all the way up to 40. Like it's just been a fucking beast over and over and over. Had I just played the game of my 5% game, I could have took this for like 10 trades easy, right? That'd have been really fantastic. So right now, math is almost pulled back to my go line. My go line would be about 14 cents. It's hitting the 100 EMA off the daily. So to me, that's a fair entry. I don't really like the pullback like this though. It looks like it wants to let go a little more. And if it does break that and it goes back, I mean, like you're looking more like 10 cents, right? Which isn't terrible, but I don't want to be in at 14 cents and go back to 10. So I'll come back around to this. So it wasn't quite ready. Plus it's experimental. They could get rid of it, and volume is way up more than it was before it started popping, but it's way down from what it takes to make it actually run. So math needs about $1 million to move 20% from what I've seen. And maybe I look at it on the next video and I'm like, oh, look at that, I was right, math moved. Like it's still not good enough for me to put my money on, right? I got to find something else. And I may pull the money out of this other trade a little bit too, but for right now, it was the best looking of all the things. So then we started looking past for the 200K, and I was like, let's look for a 500,000, to $1 million. Power has potential. I do like power. Power swings wide, and it usually has respectable volume ish. I wouldn't say it's like, oh my god, it's like a top mover all the time like SEI, but power doesn't take a lot of money to move 15-20%. So power is something that is on actually getting added to. Should. Anchor, I own some Anchor. I'm good. It's a great project, but it doesn't move well. Chills, again, doesn't move well. And in fact, sorry, let's just go to straight USDC. I don't even want to look at all these extras. And let's see here. Let's just filter back from the top. All right, so we're looking at the 500K range. Anything in particular that's on my watch list or something I've seen move that's almost making my watch list that has my attention but hasn't been good enough. Math is, it's got potential. Kui, and there we go. That's on my list, and I'm like, fuck, it fell away at 293, right? Like, I probably could have bought it at 14 when I looked at the go lines. I'm like, this is looking pretty good at 14. But it has a problem here. So my entry, my more go line was more like 16 with the potential right down here, which I don't know why it's missing, but let's put it back on again. Looking at that spot right there. This line was added in though, somewhere right in here, and I just extended it out. Actually, it was to right here. And I was looking for this box to break down or break out. And it broke out, double topped. And I thought, oh yeah, right here, we're good. This spot right here, I really expected it to start to go back up and, do its next thing. Unfortunately, it went right back on trend to down below. So if it comes down here to 13, I'm probably a little bit fucked for a while. And then that next topper is 10 or 1 cent, but 0.010 more or less, like 11. That's not good for me. I need it back up at 3 cents to break even, and I need it at like 3.5 to make really good money because I have a sizable position in it. But I might be willing to average down here, throw some more money in, just make it its own trade for a while. Maybe just trade from here to here, because even going 12 to 16 is significant money. But overall, it's lost trend, so I don't want to put any more into Qui because it'll just fuck with my head. So I thought, let's just hit something new. I've hit all the old stuff. The old stuff's not popping. There's new stuff in rotation. That's just how this run is unfolding. There's Rose. I just saw it. There it is. And it's up a little bit from what I was looking at. So 849, it's at 10. I figure like Rose can probably go 12 to 16 cents. And actually, I might, gosh, 10 to 11. That's, I mean, shit, that's a good percentage. Actually, I might pull my trade and come back to Rose. I'll have to look at it a little closer, but Rose is definitely potentially for tonight. The volume's there now too. I think it was like 400,000 before, so it's starting to kick in. IOTX is always a good mover. It's always good for about 5 to 7%, like every couple weeks, and it's up, and you're like, "Fuck yeah, IOTX, yeah, bro, it's going." And then it gives all its gains back, which is fine if you're gonna like, trade the range. If it's gonna go up to 0.6, and then come back down to 0.4, and it just plays in that range, like that's 25%. It gives you a good amount of play. It never gives you permanent gains where you're like, I'm going to hold this forever. Like it's a trader's coin for sure. Rose, same thing. Trader's coin with the potential to hold for longer. And then we had to pop up into the millions. Now, big time's on my list. I do have a bunch of big time too. I may come back to this because it's at 34. I may play this for a 35 run to 40 for the underside for just those 5 cents. In fact, let me plug that in real quick. What would that be? That's actually a pretty viable play. Dun, dun, dun. So if we had a 5% run, or a 5 cent run divided by 0.35, that would be 14% return from 34 to 39 on 5 cents. That's probably the play, and I may need to pull the other one and come back. But let's just see what I had. So Honey was looking real good to me. Got 1,000,003 volume. It's up 10%. It's kind of flatlined out, right? It's already done its thing. This is what I started looking at. Like that massive pullback. It's primed for breakdown or breakout, but it's hitting compression. Those are pretty compressy, and the lowest was 18 cents the other day, 17.10. That would suck if I got in at 20. I've got a 19.24 set. Because a penny here or there matters when it's 20 cents. But when I started unpacking it and really looking at it, and I take that one candle off, it might come down to 18 again, but it looks like it wants to head up to 26 to 30. And as I really looked into it, it looks good for a potential, gosh, get that candle out of the way there. So 24.42. Let's unpack that a little more because it's a little bit tight. 21.18 is pretty logical, and then 26.5 area. Then we're getting to the 28, right? So to me, all that looks really good because that's that's the 26.28 level. That's the topper, and then the max is 31. So I'd probably play something to the underside of like something running for a full 30 check. If I can get in at 20 and sell like 28, I'd be really happy with that. So we'll see what happens once I get it and how it's unfolding and unpacking itself, how the volume is moving. If it all of a sudden just finds massive supply come in and dump it, then, I'll take my little 5%. But Honey's got potential right now to give me a good play in a short time because I feel like it's at breakdown to breakout over most everything else when you really look at it. Though Big Time is looking good for 15%. If Big Time's already proven itself, this is brand new listing and could totally just, it could just snap off and go to oblivion. But it's $1,700. Like, I think this is more of a lotto play, and $1,700 is more like lotto money. So why not try for a 33%er here in like, maybe 1, 2, 3, maybe like 5 days. It might break out to maybe 30 cents. So that's the winner for now. And I'll keep charting, and later I'll look and probably be like, oh no, I definitely have to go with this other one. But that's the thinking for now. This is the best play next to Big Time for me to grab some, some decent gains. Anyway, thanks for watching.